We are looking for the best original villain from the reboot. Some, thanks to their fearsome power, can be considered the best. But several of the villains we've met in the reboot have changed. Some have started from the very bottom and reached almost infinite power, while others have simply had the fortune of being strong. It's very clear that we will only consider villains who appeared in the original series, so how they started and how they ended up will be a very important factor in choosing the best one. Without much more to say, I'll shut up for a month and let's get started. Hello, very good to everyone, I'm Ben Tennyson, and welcome to the cold month on the Frio 10,000 Mil channel. Kevin starts with the surprise from the reboot, since he has an altered version of the Omnitrix called the Antitrix. The problem with the bad guy is that he doesn't know how to use it. He doesn't have any knowledge about the transformations or the powers of those aliens, which, it should be noted, are stronger than Ben's, so even though he uses Breaking Ball, he ends up receiving the first of many defeats against Ben, which will start to frustrate him a lot. Music, 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 music. Do you call yourself GAX Music? Music, 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 music of his power. So in just a few minutes, he becomes the villain we all respect. Now, the Eternal Knight started from the shadows, literally. His goal at the beginning is to test the skills and powers that Ben has gained in the third season, which, let me tell you, have advanced a lot. Ben is already on another level at this point. The strange thing about all this is that the Eternal Knight has knowledge of all the Tennysons, which was never explained. The Eternal Knight starts off with more mystery and intrigue than power, unlike X, who I freaking love, who was portrayed as X in the first episodes. Just look at him. He shows up and starts causing chaos with everything he has around him. His power is huge, and trust me, it will keep growing. With the Titan X gloves, he'll gain a power that will let him reshape the world as he pleases, becoming one of the most powerful beings from the reboot. Zip! Was that a bad thing? The sorcerers in the reboot work pretty well. Charmcaster starts almost the same as X. Her obsessive and insane envy of Gwen leads her to become one of the best villains in the reboot. And it's surprising that from the very beginning, she can cast a spell that allows her to send Ben and one of her creations somewhere else. It's like a teleportation that this mage can perform. Now, when she gets angry, let me tell you that she's capable of fighting against the upgraded unidentified flying object version of 4 arms. The way her voice starts is impressive. He's one of those few villains who seem silly, but actually have an extremely well-detailed plan. Deep down, Son Bosso starts out in the reboot as a leader, having a team, although they're a bit slow, but they perfectly meet the expectations to carry out his plans. He ends up being almost as freaking awesome as Dr. Animo. Just imagine how important and influential a villain has to be to have his own statue. Dr. Animo starts out this way, being portrayed in a way that I would describe as admirable. The villain with the best introduction, without a doubt, is Ben 10,000. The final villain of the reboot shows up as a genocidal maniac. Those Omnitrixes he has all over his body are trophies from other dimensional Bens. His main goal is to travel through all the multiverses and collect all the Omnitrixes, something that, as you can see, is already happening. A dimensional Ben from the reboot is the one in charge of facing him. But, as you can imagine, it's not possible, since he ends up being destroyed and paying the consequences. Subtitled 4 villains have a perfect start, showing that their skills are extremely important for this ranking, putting them in a good position. Of these, one has already been able to show his best form. X and the Titan's gloves have appeared with the most powerful artifact of the reboot. Now, since we're here, let's also talk a bit about how the villains end up, since X ends up being the General of the United States, if you're wondering why. Well, this is one of the best decisions the president made. When X is a being who has lived for centuries, a guardian who has been present in almost all of humanity's major wars, his knowledge makes him perfect for this position. And it shows when the Sur's invasion arrives on Earth, one of the greatest threats Earth has faced, along with the hybrids. In fact, in the next video, we'll talk about all the invasions Earth has suffered. Are they communicating? Admiral, is this a joke? Your research has been invaluable to our survival. Dr. Animo ends up having just as important a role, being one of the most important scientists on Earth. He has modified his body to become a monstrosity. Let me tell you, that's not even his most powerful form. We gotta see that in the second season. After stealing the Omnitrix's DNA and being betrayed by Vilgax, he decided to inject it into himself. Should I tell you something? All this time I've been experimenting on animals, and I should have focused on one thing. As strange as it may seem, Dr. Animo managed to master Poplexian DNA, giving him tremendous strength and showing us RAD His Highness for the first time in the reboot. Oh, that's enough, Son Bosso. Son Bosso's story is actually very sad, since he ends up being the president's secretary, although if we talk about his powers. We saw his full potential in the 4th season in the House of Laughter, where he was able to create such a powerful illusion that it trapped the team. Demison, torturing them to the point of almost driving them crazy. Charmcaster ends up just as she started, after Gwen, and in the end of the 3rd season she was so close to completing her goal. Gwen was never a match for Charmcaster. Her maximum power is fearsome, and what she showed us was terrifying. She can create a kind of dimension where they absolutely love her. All of this puts her way above the others. Because besides being one of the most powerful villains, she was able to boost Kevin's maximum power, transforming him into the most anticipated mutation in all of Latin America united, this beastly fusion. The evolution of all of Kevin's mutated aliens is without a doubt his most powerful form, since Mungoraptor, being his strongest alien, couldn't compete with this one, Kevin. It ends in a special way, since in the future he has been trapped in the transformation of this alien. The reasons are unknown, but no one complains. This alien has extremely overpowered abilities. Now, Vilgax ended in a special way by obtaining an almost infinite, but very dangerous power, the DNA of a Celestial. This was quite complex and interesting. The squid had sent him the necessary data for Kevin to build the Antitrix, in which a power was hidden that could only be unlocked with the Omnitrix key, which Ben had. Thanks to this, he managed to obtain a power that completely changed his form. Vilgax's appearance and size began to change. A red celestial DNA covered his body. Not even Kevin's mutated diamond head form, nor Ben's most powerful transformation up to that point could stand up to him. Now, his power, although incredible, never reached its true potential. But it was enough to give the memorable villain Vilgax a worthy, well-deserved ending. The highest point of the Eternal Night was when he obtained his time bracelet, which actually didn't affect his abilities at all, since he could practically do anything. With all of Ben's aliens, it was surprising that the Eternal Night knew so much, but his terrible end left him trapped in the time tunnel. The last thing we knew about him was that his helmet returned, and this left us with more questions than answers, since it seemed that the helmet had a life of its own. In the 4th season, we saw that it could take over anyone, giving them physical abilities that didn't belong to the user. All of this led to the helmet being given to Phil, now by Ben. 10,000, his highest point was having obtained 11, Omnitrix, in addition to the most powerful transformation, which is obviously Alien X. With all this, he was able to face several Omnitrix wielders from the multiverse, among which stood out the ones from the original series, Alien Force, Ultimate Alien, Omniverse, and Wayne's version. His power was highly questioned, but it was clear that if he wanted to finish off the Bens, he could have done it at any moment. In the end, Ben had to pay for everything he had done in the multiverse and was sentenced to the Null Void for a long time. All the villains have been important in the reboot. The fact that one is more powerful than another, or that a villain has appeared in almost every season, doesn't make them more important either. Choosing the best one is up to you in the comments. The winner will be revealed in the next video. I thank you for making it this far. This video involved a lot of video compilation, which made the project almost 20 gigabytes, so I would really appreciate it if you left your support on this video. Without much more to say, I say goodbye. I'm Frio10mil, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.